here with Robby Stein, who is the VP of Product for Google Search. And it's kind of a big job, Robby. Tell us what you do.
Well, it's very exciting.
It's kind of like the product.
I have a great privilege of working on a product that lots of people really enjoy and is important to them. And we take that very seriously.
Yeah.
But right now is an incredibly interesting time because Google Search is changing and reimagining itself more than ever before. I think in this new moment where AI really expands what's possible with Google Search, I spend most of my days thinking about how you can come to Google and really ask almost anything in your mind, no matter how complicated, how specific, and then have really the knowledge of Google and the web, really helpful for you in that moment.
Yeah, you're kind of at this crazy inflection point in the history of search, and you're leading the charge. No pressure.
No pressure.
Okay, so before we dive in, I feel like I know my audience would love to hear from you. Part of my series is we like to do a little bit of tea talk and hot tea takes.
Okay.
When I think about Google and AI, something I've covered before and I think a lot about is the innovator's dilemma. And you've probably heard Google is, this is kind of, for those of you that don't know, the innovator's dilemma is this idea that established firms sometimes fail to disrupt themselves because the innovation could cannibalize their existing business, right? And I think this analogy has candidly been used with Google for AI. There's rumors that Google suppressed some of the AI research in the past because naturally that cannibalized the existing ad business. And even now, right, AI versus search, the two are a bit at odds. How do you think about that dynamic?
Yeah, for sure. I think actually I've seen a large misconception around this, which is that, every kind of new technology or format really replaces, rather than I think what I'm seeing more, which is it expands. Actually at Instagram, I think we had a similar experience, and I talked about in some other interviews where, there were new experiences like stories, reels that have been added, and that was a part of working on. And it really just expanded what was possible with the product. I think is a similar example where with AI, and what we're seeing in our data is that people are not actually changing their core search behavior that much. The things people rely on for search billions of times a day, those needs don't change. You need a price, you need a phone number, you need directions, you need to look up how to pay your taxes. It's like all those well-worn paths, you get instantaneous information around those things. They're happening billions of times a day. But then you have all this new stuff, which is like what we talked about, where you can take a picture of while you're walking and ask questions about it. Or you can copy and paste a massive block of code and troubleshoot it. These are new use cases now. They're growing very quickly. And with our AI experiences, what we're seeing is that growth. So for AI overviews, AI mode, and Lens with AI, with our image and multimodal search, they're incredibly fast growing. And so these are like, for instance, for multimodal, these are up visual searching is up 75% year over year.
This kind of makes me think about where the internet is going, right? Because the way I grew up, like our generation, like we had like Google classes in elementary school, right? Like my understanding of the internet was Google, search results, then go to publisher. That's how we know the web. But now with AI mode, it's almost like I don't need to go to the publishers, and Google is giving me everything I need to know. So I guess the question is, does AI mode disintermediate the internet / does Google become the internet?
Google does not become the internet. So first of all, Google cares about the web and the broader set of experiences more than any other company. And that's what people come to Google for. Actually, when we talk to users, the differentiator, one of the things that people value the most about Google is that you can go directly to sources. You can find information yourself. You can verify information. You can see a diversity of opinions. I don't think those needs change. The other thing that we're seeing is people continue to click and to go deeper and find information through these AI experiences. I think the reason why is what I mentioned in terms of users' need. Like you don't want to necessarily just see like what AI has to say about something and you're like done. These are just the beginnings. We kind of think about it more as context. And I think the main user trend we're seeing as a difference is that people want some more upfront context first, and then they want to click in and go deeper. And that is a difference we're observing. Whereas before, maybe you might click but like bounce immediately back just to make sense of things. So it may not even be very high quality. We're seeing now there's an expectation that you can really use pretty much in any product now, some set of AI that can get you efficient information. But then that becomes the starting point. We were talking about for ads. Like you took a picture of your bookshelf. That wasn't a query that would have come for Google. So actually the first thing is that hopefully by expanding the pie, there's more opportunities, more pages are being generated for users every day than ever. And then when you compare that to the fact that these models are intelligent, you should be able to find parts of the web that are really interesting for the user. And we see this in AI mode, that actually the kinds of sites that come up are more diverse than what you would traditionally get in a core search page.
One thing that you said was context, right? And I think context is a really interesting word because you have search. It's like almost this transition that we talked about, right? You're going from search to answers. And I think what answers have is context. But then that's also a lot of responsibility, right? Because in a way, the context is a bit of editorial, right? The chasm you cross from search to answers is editorial. You're providing users with context, with a POV before they begin their journey. Is that a fair characterization? How do you think about that?
It really depends on what people are trying to do. I mean, what we see is the complexity of queries is going up a ton.
Yeah.
So like the average length of a query in AI mode is multiples of what it is in core search. And so what usually happens is that there isn't really even a single place that has information, because you're asking pretty nuanced, multi-constrained questions.
Yeah.
And so it's grabbing information from multiple places, and then it's synthesizing that to create a unified picture. And so I don't think it's as simple as creating like a single context. I think people's questions are pretty complicated typically, and it's trying to synthesize and reason across lots of information pieces. But I think typically that then allows for the user to have more information before they click. And that's why what we've seen is that when users engage more deeply, they actually stay on websites longer. They're better customers.
So you're saying it's like a higher intention click.
Yes, it is.
That's interesting.
That's exactly what we're seeing.
So you're basically getting them down the funnel faster.
Yes.
Don't you feel that in a way this is a much larger burden you're carrying with AI mode to present information fairly, prevent chaos, misinformation? There's like a little bit of that editorial burden you carry now, right? Who do you think is your competition in this space?
I mean, right now what we're finding is that people come to Google. They want to get more access to complicated, information. And they actually want Google to deliver it. And so what you see is people typing long queries, what we've seen, and then typing AI at the end to like get the AI to do the thing.
Interesting.
And so
they want the context.
So I think like what we see is that, ultimately I think it's our opportunity to just do so much more for the user. And that's the main way we think about kind of like the market. Because people are already coming to Google for information. And they want to get more information from Google. So we'll just let them do that. And that's how we spend most of our time.
Do you lose sleep over ChatGPT, Claude, all of the LLMs?
I mean, I think the market is growing incredibly fast. And it's awesome that there's innovation and competition, and it's thriving. I think that's excellent. It's excellent for users. It's excellent for the industry. I think it's hopefully creates so much opportunity and innovation just broadly. But I think people underappreciate typically how expansive use cases are. People come for Google. And I think Google occupies a pretty unique position in the world for satisfying everything from, this, looking up a local business payment that you need to pay tonight and making sure you go to the perfect website for your, town, to asking about how to get a stain remover out, to asking about like a YouTube thing, or, searching for what people might be saying about a topic and getting links to, X or, other social media. Like all that is in Google. And so I think Google is somewhat singular in that way. But obviously the opportunity is that we can do a lot more.
Yeah, I mean, I think of when, again, talking about how I grew up on Google, it's like the single entry point, like google.com. But in a way with AI, maybe you'll just have multiple entry points and then the AI becomes more of the back end. Like, have you thought of it that way? Like there would be various front ends, Google products or otherwise, and then maybe Google becomes more of a back end, or I don't know, is that?
Actually, that is largely happening already. Actually, the way AI mode works is Google's the back end, and an AI model effectively Googles
that's true.
and researches and thinks and looks at what it's seeing and then presents information to you. And I think many services rely on that kind of information retrieval, and that's critical. But I think Google also has the privilege to be a product billions of people are using all the time too. And so I think it really is an end-to-end experience and product. But it's also possible that there's services that are offered too that make this useful. Like there's other offerings like in cloud and others and that Gemini use for allowing to you get information from Google basically. So AIs can get information. But at the end of the day, the huge share of it is just people coming to Google.
I was thinking about this the other day. I think I did like a post on it, and there's this like hypothetical world in which like publisher websites just become inputs to the LLM and like no one browses anymore. And we're almost there too, right? With AI mode or, you know, LLMs or other chatbots. So how do you think about like, do you like, can you predict the future for us? Like, do you think something like that could happen with the internet?
I can't predict the future. I think.
Come on.
But what I can tell you, I'll tell you what I'll try to predict.
Yeah.
Like I said before, like like there's billions of clicks every day that continue to be sent from Google. And so those clicks need to go somewhere. Like people want information, they want to see authorities, they want bespoke experiences, they want to immerse themselves in the content that they're seeking. I think that's very hard to encapsulate. At the scale of the web with anything. It's just the web is so vast. And I think whenever you've seen products attempt to create totally closed systems where you try to build the whole web into one small system, it doesn't seem to really work. And so I think that it's largely because of the expansionary opportunity. What I think will happen is there will be a new class of publishers, and maybe publishers could evolve in some cases too, where if you think about the use cases of AI, like people use a lot for different things. So traditionally people might be searching for facts, information, synthesis, things like that. Whereas now it's like lots of, say, personal advice is a big one. And it's hard to write a single article about that because people are pretty different. But maybe there's some way that someone could scale advice knowledge and have that be accessible somehow. Like, I don't know, I'm just kind of riffing, but like that kind of an experience could be interesting because then, you know, AI could benefit from that somehow.
What should everyone be really excited about for Google, and what are you most excited about?
I think what I'm most excited about, AI can help with visual needs. And I think there's two that come to mind actually. Right now, AI is really focused on, grew up from a chatbot. And so a lot of its format is text. But really, for many everyday user problems, it's about visual needs. So whether you're designing your home, you're doing landscaping, you're looking for wallpaper, you're buying shoes, you're looking for a new pair of jeans, you want to see it. You don't want to just get descriptions of it. And so, you know, with our products in AI mode, people can do image search all the time. Our AI is intuitively starting to learn and understand visual. And so you can ask, how do I design my daughter's bedroom? And it'll give you a beautiful visual inspiration. You can have a multi-turn natural language conversation with visual, which is really powerful. And I think a related thing is around Google Lens and Nano Banana, where you can take a picture of something, you can augment it in really fun ways, and that can help with both inspiration and also just fun.
I was just telling your team I haven't done Nano Banana yet, but I'm just like, it sounds like a crazy wild world.
And it originated in Gemini, and you can get it there, but we've also integrated it into Google Lens. So if you get the Google app, you can click on the camera and then there's a little banana icon.
I'll check it out.
You can have some fun with it.
Final hot tea take.
Okay, hot tea take.
Can we still say Google it? Or is it like AI moded now?
I think Google works. I think Google's still great.
Okay.
It's everlasting.
You heard it here first. You can still Google it.
You can still Google. Yeah, I do it all the time.
Thanks so much, Robby. What a fun
Thank
conversation.
you.
And I can't wait to check out some of the new products you have. Thanks for having me.
Thanks so much. Appreciate it.